What's good, everybody? It's Clutch Hoops, and we have some NBA trade deadline news. The Raptors have officially traded Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a 2031 second round pick, and a 2026 Indiana first round pick, top four protected, to the Pelicans for Brandon Ingram. I really like what the Raptors have been up to so far this deadline. They've added another core piece, even though it's a little bit early in the Barnes-Barrett Quickly era to do that. They finally got something out of that Bruce Brown contract, which has been an asset that has been needed to be moved for quite some time since the Siakam trade. Kelly Olynyk is a solid role player too. He's not critical for the Raptors, and I like that they got rid of him because it frees up minutes for some of the younger guys like Mogbo. The first round pick is Indiana's again, and it's probably going to end up in the 20s, so not a giant loss. Best case for Toronto, they get a great scorer for his prime years in Ingram, which, as we all know, Toronto's been needing some much needed perimeter creation for quite some time. And by trading for him, the kicker was that anybody that traded for him would have to extend him. So they've definitely already committed to pay Brandon Ingram, and that would not surprise me if they've already got terms on a deal sort of agreed to. I know he's eligible for about 3 years, 144, which is a little bit crazy in my opinion, but I think he definitely deserves mid to high 30s. His injury situation is a little bit scary. It's, as you probably know, he's missed the whole start of the season basically, save for a few games with an ankle injury, and it was a pretty nasty injury if you saw it. But if you're the Raptors, I mean, you have no reason to rush him back into play. You're okay with tanking for a while. You sold some of your other pieces at the deadline, like Davion Mitchell. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that they're not trying to compete at the moment. And again, they basically have no reason to rush him back to play. They can bring him back late and give him all the time he wants to recover and tank as much as they want, really. And just hope that he's ready for next season. Overall, they've gotten younger, and they've also shed just a little bit of salary in some of the little side moves, like picking up PJ Tucker and trading away Davion Mitchell and 2 second-round picks. So that's been pretty solid. But overall, I think it's just very beneficial overall that they finally do something and consolidate some of this depth off their bench. It's been needed for quite some time. I like the chance that Masai took has been taking these past few years. I mean, he did very interesting situation with the Kawhi trade a few years ago as well, and that worked out pretty well. But again, this does feel a lot like the Kawhi trade with injury risk, and I mean, you're definitely going to need to extend Brandon Ingram, which was what everybody knew, that if you traded for him, then you definitely got to pay this man. For the Pelicans, I'm honestly finally glad that something has changed. And I don't say that because their roster's been stagnant for a while, because they really have made a lot of different moves. But I wanted to see Brandon Ingram out of New Orleans one way or another. I wasn't the first to give up on the Brandon Ingram and Zion pairing, but I didn't find that they really worked together as well as maybe people would have initially thought when they first got together. But again, anyway, you swap them out for Olynyk and Bruce Brown, who are cool little role players. Bruce Brown is always going to do some great defensive stuff, and he's a pretty cool, undersized wing that I'm sure if he resigns on a decent deal will be pretty valuable. The Olynyk experiment is always a roller coaster. Would be pretty cool with Zion as a passer and shooter, but defensively he is, not great, to say the least. I'm surprised, honestly, that they got any first, because, realistically, this pick is going to convey it's top 4 protected, and I don't really expect Indiana to be bottom 4 team, and at least in terms of lottery odds in 2026. So, for Pels fans, again, it's probably going to end up in the 20s. It's not crazy. It's not the most valuable thing ever, but better than nothing. It's unfortunate that this is how they have to give up on BI, but, I appreciate the great years he had in New Orleans, and I'm definitely excited to see him play in a new environment. in one way or another, I would have been watching him, and it's even cooler that he's on my team now. So you guys let me know what you think about this trade. Do the Raptors fleece, or do the Pelicans end up better by trading him away? And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.